In truth, some men carry a darkness so profound, it makes you question if a hidden malice lurks beneath their friendly demeanor. Have you ever felt drained merely by sharing space with them, as if your soul demands cleansing afterward? You're not mad. Sometimes, it's not just ill temper, it's a deliberate shadow cast upon your spirit. The hardest truth is, you may admire them, you trust them, until you realize you're locked in a contest with a deceiver who grins and says, "Your move." Today, I'll unveil 5 unmistakable signs that someone in your life isn't sent by virtue. They're like spiritual saboteurs, sapping your peace, eroding your worth, and making you doubt your own clarity. Grab a strong coffee or a moment of reflection and settle in, for knowing these signs can spare you years of turmoil and countless hours of self-doubt. If you're ready to see through their mask, nod in agreement, commit to this journey, and declare, "I see the signs." Together, we'll cast light into the shadows. Now, let's begin. The first sign, they urge you to falter. We all know perfection is a myth. We stumble, we err, and sometimes we willingly stray. The wise man owns his faults. The stubborn one denies them. What matters is how those around us respond when we fall. A virtuous man, a true brother, doesn't revel in your missteps. He offers honest counsel, though it stings, because he wills your rise. Such men understand that true brotherhood means guiding you to truth, however painful. Yet, there's a darker, kind, subtle, not loud. They're not the obvious troublemakers you'd shun. These are the smiling betrayers, cloaked in warmth and charm. They pose as your confidant, your jovial companion, the one who claims to know you best. Their cunning lies in their subtlety. They don't openly bid you to ruin your life. Instead, they applaud when you do. Picture yourself striving for virtue, eating well, cutting vice like excess drink. Then a companion scoffs, "Come now, live a little. You're no fun anymore." They're the first to press indulgence upon you at a feast, the first to pour another drink, despite your refusal. They make you question your aims, turning discipline into rigidity or selfishness. I recall a man from my youth, let's call him Robert, full of charm. Everyone loved his company. His wit lightened any room. When I fought to quit drinking, to forge a better path, he'd say, "You're doing great, but one drink won't hurt. You've earned it." He'd slide a glass my way with a grin before I could object. At first, I saw it as camaraderie. I convinced myself he supported me in his own way. But one night, after a lapsey, I swore I'd never repeat. I saw the truth. He wasn't lifting me up. He needed me weak, for my clarity forced him to face his own shadows. As long as I faltered, he could avoid his own reflection. This is their mindset. They don't just tolerate your failures, they thrive on them. Your missteps validate their own choices. Misery loves company, but it craves obedient company most. They can't admit their own waywardness, so they drag you along. They mask it with kindness, subtle and insidious. They don't shout, "Be reckless," but whisper, "Don't be so hard on yourself." As you teeter on old vices, the danger isn't just in that moment, it's the slow erosion of your resolve. Stoicism teaches that the mind is a fortress we must guard. As Epictetus declared, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Teasy men want your gates flung wide, your defenses down, When you justify small compromises, they lead you further astray. The tragedy is they're not always villains, in the obvious sense. Many are lost themselves, fearing change. So they sabotage those who try. They may be kin, spouse, old friends, those who know your weaknesses and whom you trust enough to lower your guard. So how do you counter them? Not with anger or attempts to save them by force. Stoicism bids us see them clearly, without illusion or excuse. Set boundaries calmly but firmly. Choose which conversations to engage in, which temptations to refuse, which invitations to decline. If needed, walk away. Protecting your mind, virtue, and peace isn't selfish, it's essential. I share this not to breed fear, but to arm you with vigilance. Reflect on those who delight in your compromises, who cheer your poor choices under the guise of friendship. Recognizing them is the first step. Next, we'll explore how to set clear, honorable boundaries, even with those you hold dear. For loving them doesn't mean letting them lead you into darkness. The second sign, they dismiss your feelings and manipulate with deceit. The most insidious manipulation doesn't feel like coercion. It wears the mask of care. Loyalty. Even love a truth too many. Learn too late. These tactics aren't overt cruelty that makes you recoil. They're subtle distortions, calculated to pull you from your true path until you barely recognize yourself. Many of us endure this unaware, blaming our sensitivity or faulting ourselves for lacking understanding. It often starts with someone making you doubt your own judgment. They say, "You're overreacting," or "You're too sensitive." Until your instincts waver, you might share concerns about a toxic bond, but instead of listening, they deny your emotions outright. Worse, they may claim they're shielding you while controlling who you see, where you go, or how you spend your time. Not with threats or loud arguments, but with quiet persistence, convincing you they know better, that your happiness hinges on following their lead. This manipulation is cruel because it doesn't feel like control at first. It feels like care. I've seen men of wisdom, seasoned by decades, walk on eggshells around those who claim to love them. They abandon old friends to avoid upsetting a partner. They skip family gatherings to keep the peace. Over time, their world shrinks until the manipulator's voice is the only one they hear. This is a chilling psychological truth. The goal isn't to push you off a cliff, but to nudge you off course, so gently you don't notice until you're lost. Manipulators don't just want your freely given loyalty, they demand devotion they can control. They present their perspective as the sole truth, bending reality until you doubt your own. They do this not with open threats, but with almost tender deceit. "I'm only trying to help. You know I want what's best for you. No one understands you like I do." Eventually, you stop challenging them, not because you agree, but because you're weary of the endless battle over what's real. Stoicism offers clarity here. We cannot control others' actions, but we must fiercely guard our minds. Epictetus taught, "We are not disturbed by things, but by our view of them." The manipulator's aim is to seize that view, convincing you their reality is the only one. The antidote is awareness, seeing their tactics clearly and holding fast to your reason. This means relearning to trust your instincts and honoring your boundaries, even when they call you cold or selfish. It's seeking relationships built on mutual respect, where differences aren't punished, and your autonomy is valued, not feared. If you see these patterns, don't blame yourself. Manipulation is designed to go unnoticed. Recognizing it is the vital first step to reclaiming your peace. Next, we'll discuss practical strategies to set firm, compassionate boundaries. For protecting your mind is not just self-defense, it's a profound act of self-respect. It's a testament to the life you're called to build. The third sign: they sow discord and division. The most harmful men aren't always those who shout or threaten openly. Often, they pose as allies, drawing you close with care, only to quietly plant seeds of doubt and fracture. These men master subtle sabotage. They turn intimate secrets into leverage, nudging small rifts into chasms. By the time you see their damage, they've moved on to their next act of feigned loyalty. Observe their methods closely. They position themselves as your greatest defender, urging you to confide, presenting themselves as a haven in your storm. But every word you share becomes a tool, carefully chosen. They twist your fears into betrayals, fanning conflicts while keeping their hands clean. They thrive on chaos and division, for it makes them the indispensable advisor at the center of your world. Their harm isn't loud. It spreads through whispers, skeptical glances, and well-timed hints that make you question others' motives and loyalty. This isn't mere gossip or immaturity, it's a profound form of control. By inserting themselves between your relationships, these manipulators ensure they hold the power to shape perceptions, deciding who's right, who's wrong, who's trustworthy, and who's not. Make no mistake, they don't just aim to disrupt casual friendships. Their prized targets are marriages, families, enduring bonds, anything strong enough to threaten their influence. Psychologically, they're driven by insecurity and a deep need to feel essential. Healthy, independent connections challenge their centrality, so they sow division to foster dependence. You turn to them for advice, clarity, or peace, and they gladly provide just enough to keep you ensnared. This is predatory behavior, feeding on trust and vulnerability. Marcus Aurelius warned that others' opinions shouldn't rule us. We must discipline our perceptions. This wisdom is vital against those who subtly sow discord. You must courageously see their tactics. However painful it is to admit a trusted ally is unsafe, ask yourself, does this man bring clarity or chaos? Does he resolve conflicts or profit from them? Does he truly care for my well-being? Or does he need my dependence? The solution isn't to outmaneuver them in their game that only pulls you deeper into their drama. The Stoic response is calm awareness. Limit what you share. Refuse to let them mediate your relationships. Prioritize, direct. Honest communication with those you cherish. If necessary, step back, not out of spite, but to protect and honor what you hold dear. Acknowledging subtle harm isn't weakness, it's strength. It's seeing clearly, preserving peace in your bonds, and demanding transparency and respect. Next, we'll discuss how to set these boundaries without apology. For safeguarding your closest ties is a duty to those who trust you. The fourth sign: they drain your spirit. Have you met someone who seemed like a godsend, a loyal friend, a kind neighbor, a kin who finally understands you? They appear when you're most vulnerable, offering an ear, a hand, and promises of steadfast loyalty that ease your heart. But over time, their true nature emerges not through rage or overt betrayal, but through small, Subtle acts that are hard to pinpoint at first. These men excel at finding your weaknesses and exploiting them, all under the guise of care. They probe not to heal, but to catalogue your vulnerabilities. What you thought was support becomes an inquisition. I recall a friend who saw this in an older woman with a new acquaintance from her community. At first, he seemed a blessing, carrying her burdens, checking on her health, offering help with chores. She told me she felt blessed, especially after losing her husband. But soon, I noticed she spoke less with her children. She said they didn't understand her like he did. She skipped family dinners to spend time with him. If anyone questioned his motives, she grew defensive. "He's the only one there for me," she'd say. But the truth was darker. He convinced her that her children were selfish, uncaring. He needed her isolated to control her world. This is how emotional predators work, not with snarls, but with calculated kindness. They don't bare their fangs. Instead, they win your trust by making you feel heard in ways you haven't in years. They become indispensable, the one you call in sorrow, the first to hear your joys. But each shared secret grants them more power, not to uplift, but to possess you. Their true aim isn't support, but ownership, ensuring your loyalty is theirs alone. They criticize those who love you, hinting their bonds are toxic. They make you doubt your judgment, subtly shaming you for time spent with others. Psychologically, they thrive on creating emotional scarcity. By draining your confidence and severing other sources of love, they make you crave their approval. You apologize for imagined faults, bend your values to avoid their displeasure, take blame to keep peace. Yet they never meet you halfway. They demand submission. Stoicism warns us to guard our hearts and minds vigilantly. Marcus Aurelius wrote that our minds take the hue of our thoughts. When others flood your life with doubt and self-loathing, they don't just alter your mood, they reshape your very being. The Stoic solution requires brutal honesty about others' impact on us. See relationships as they are, not as you wish them to be. Accept that some cannot be reasoned with or saved, for they refuse change. If someone leaves you drained, diminished, or weak, that's not love, it's predation. The kindest act for yourself and them is to withdraw, reclaiming your mind, peace, and identity before their influence took hold. Next, we'll explore practical ways to set boundaries that keep you safe without falling into the manipulative traps you seek to escape. You don't just deserve to survive these bonds, you deserve to be free. The fifth sign they instill: dread, anxiety, and fear. It's a proven truth that fear spreads like a contagion, infecting even the stoutest hearts through prolonged exposure to those who revel in unease. You needn't be anxious by nature to fall prey. Constant contact with someone who dwells on worst-case scenarios reshapes your thoughts until they're no longer your own. This shift is so subtle, you may mistake it for maturity or necessary caution. Not seeing the external force at play, you might think your spirit's shift comes from age or life's demands, but it's often the work of an outsider bent on keeping you small, doubtful, and afraid. They don't wave warning flags. They come as friends, confidants, or kin, claiming care for your well-being. Their advice, cloaked as wisdom, is sabotage. Instead of helping you weigh risks, they amplify every danger to paralyze you. Rather than celebrating your ambitions, They question your ability and motives, planting doubt that creeps into every choice you make. They don't just seek your caution, they demand your obedience. For men of deep thought and sensitivity, this is especially perilous. We're taught to listen, to consider others' views, to understand. So we hesitate to label someone negative, even when their realism strangles our hope. This isn't harmless pessimism, it's psychological control. They craft a reality where you rely on their guidance to navigate a world they've painted as perilous. Slowly, your courage fades, your will to dream, to risk, to stand for yourself weakens. You apologize for wanting more. You doubt instincts that once guided you. Worse, you may forget who you were. The Stoics warned of this. Our thoughts are our only true domain, and we must defend them fiercely. Marcus Aurelius said, "Our minds take the color of the thoughts we embrace. Like cloth absorbs dye. When you soak in fear and negativity, it doesn't stay external, it seeps into you, staining your choices and worldview. This isn't just a mood, it's the loss of your power to choose your path. If you live smaller, avoid risks you once faced, or see only threats. Question the voices you've let near. Do they help you see the world as it is, or do they bind you to fear? Are they freeing you from illusions or chaining you to their approval? These questions aren't for the faint-hearted, for the answers often reveal betrayal, masked as care. The Stoic response isn't cold indifference, but clear boundaries in your mind. Choose who influences your life. Discerning warnings born of love from those meant to control. Learn to separate caution from paralysis, honesty from cruelty, prudence from surrender. It means reclaiming your right to judge, decide, and live as master of your life. Next, we'll explore how to build this mental clarity and resilience, for you deserve more than surviving fear. You deserve to live with dignity and freedom, master of your thoughts. If these signs strike too close to home, it's time to stop granting unchecked trust to those who drain you like spiritual leeches at a feast. You weren't born to be anyone's pawn or punching bag. You deserve peace, clarity, and the freedom to forge your path without toxic whispers in your ear. Recognizing these cunning saboteurs is the first step to banishing them from your life. At the least, you can bid them farewell with a calm nod and a firm message, try as you might. Today isn't your day. Deceiver, if this resonates or stirs your resolve, don't stay silent. Commit to this path and share which sign struck you deepest. Let's forge a brotherhood where we call out these deceptions and stand firm together. Trust me, once you see their game, you're free to step out of it. Stay vigilant, hold your spirit high, and join me in the next chapter, where we'll keep exposing the shadows with truth and defiance.